Either way, we live on the blue, live on the green, live on the purple. Each and every day, we got some content coming. HLX.GG backslash Vibe Nation if you want to be a part of those tournaments. Another tournament in the books. Shout out to everybody that played. VR to God took the championship, beat the King JB. Both of them have been smacking people around as of late. But you know, yeah, he ain't finna say nothing else about Joey Porter Jr. ever again. Because Joey Porter Jr. showed up for the bag, like I said, undefeated. Sometimes I ain't even got to say nothing. But let's get into this shop talk today because every day I wake up, Fat Boys done broke up, Dipset done broke up. Somebody in the Titans media got something to say. When I go to the Titans media,
let me teach
every
you how
day,
to vibe.
I see one of these goofballs. No disrespect to the people in the media. I respect all my peers. But I'm tired of hearing people, should we trade Jeffrey Simmons? Should we shop the pick? Should we do this? Should we do that? Clearly, when you look at things around the league, you start to figure out, is our fan base stupid? Jeffrey Simmons was the 19th pick in the 19 draft, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to see my track record, I made a video. There was a letter to Jeffrey Simmons when he got drafted. He only fell down from Mississippi State because he had gotten into a fight like coming out of high school or something. And it was like a question of his character. Man of the year. Staple in the community. $100 million D tackle. Can play inside and outside. The last several years, one of the most double team players in the NFL. This past year, most tackles for loss on run plays, pressures from an interior lineman. Dude gets double teamed. They run duo on this man pretty much the whole game. And every time you need a big play, Big Jeff steps up. Came in for one of the Titans legends, Jarrell Casey, and took over that spot as the man, leader in the locker room, a guy that still balled out when they put him on a tag on his at the end of his rookie deal, and walked in the locker room and told this man, we want to keep you here. We don't know if we're going to have the money to pay you. Because they have John Robinson had messed the books up so bad that ran Carthon Fix. Now we have Jeffrey Simmons still balling on the trash team, playing with both arms taped up, didn't miss no time, still out there fighting hard, still leading the team. And what do you have? The Titans media wants to trade start. Like, we've seen this story before, right? A.J. Brown ain't worth a max contract. He's just a receiver. We can draft Traylon Burks to replace him. Eagles go straight to the Super Bowl. He breaks records for 100+ yard games to start. Okay. Derrick Henry's washed.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
He's 30 years old. He doesn't have it in the tank. His production is declining on a bad team with no quarterback and a bad offensive line. This year is the first time in his career he's not getting hit from behind the line of scrimmage. 2,000-yard season in the playoffs. Breaking Ravens records at 30. Steve McNair, the man, the myth, the legend. One of the reasons why most people are Titan fans. $13 million at the end of his career. They didn't want to pay him. 13-3 on the Ravens the next year. Do we got to show Derrick Mason? Do we got to go back over all these Titan legends that go to the Eagles and the Ravens or go places? Chris Johnson, 2,000 yards, $1.5 million a year contract. Guy got paid $1.5 million to run for 2,000 yards. Had to hold out a season to get paid. Our fan base says when we draft a star, let him go. When we draft a star, trade him. Now looking back on it, Was it fool's gold when Marcus Mariota had the team right, got injured, Tannehill took over, go to the AFC Championship game? But then you go back and look and say Tannehill threw for 80 yards versus the Ravens, 80 yards versus the Patriots. You beat the Ravens with Lamar and the Patriots with Tom Brady. Ended his Patriot career with less than 100 yards passing. Go to the Chiefs. Derrick Henry's throwing touchdowns. Less than 200 yards passing in mop-up time. We couldn't throw the ball at all in the AFC Championship game. They didn't stop Henry. They got the lead, and we basically had to play one-dimensional. Tannehill wasn't going to beat the Chiefs passing. Then we gave him a $100 million contract, lost Jonnu Smith, lost Logan Ryan, the DBs, almost lost Derrick Henry, retained everybody. Every time we get a star, instead of developing, like they never make it to that second contract. Just go down the line, Keith. So every time, now y'all want to get rid of Jeffrey Simmons. We can get another D tackle. So now we got the number 1 pick. We're going to trade Jeffrey Simmons so we could draft another defensive tackle. When we know the problem is edge rushers. How much more effective would Tavondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons be if we had edge rushers? Now, we do have one edge rusher, Harold Landry, that came off a major injury and still had 9 sacks this year on a team that never played with the lead. How do you get a lot of sacks? Ask the Rams. You get a lead and you tell Jared Verse to pin his ears back. That's how people run up sacks. You play with the lead. So instead of thinking logically, now we want to trade off our stars. You realize there's a reason why we're in a small market and we never on TV and we never get any love from the national media. Because now that L'Jarius Sneed, he's not always cracked. Okay, he was injured. He was one of the best corners in the league on the Chiefs. Gave up a 3rd round pick for him. Titan fans don't want to trade him. It'd be the same way Monty Hooker had the most picks in his career. Titan fans will want to trade him. Like they capsize on themselves every time that we get star players. Like teams around the league is like, yeah, that Monty's kind of nice. Jeffrey Simmons a dog. Every time we get somebody that the national media or anybody in football can look at and jumps off the field when you're watching them and said, this guy's a dog, we don't re-sign him or we want to trade him away. I mean, that's it, Keith. Like, because the reality is the Tennessee Titans like no names. And guess what? Now that Nick Westbrook-Akene played for $1.5 million last year, dude does everything we want him to do. Stands in the post games in the locker room, answers all the tough questions. Laughed off the fact that the local media call him a Honda. Now that he had 9 touchdowns this past season coming off the bench, they'll let him walk. He'll be in New England. You know what I'm saying? Like, I for the life of me, I can't understand how when we get good players, our fan base wants to run him off. Big Jeff with the 25 gifted. Man, can we get some stickers in the chat? If you're on the green side, you don't even have to have a sub. If you're on the purple, use your Amazon Prime. Use that to sub. If you're on the blue app, check your notifications. You might have one of those gifted. We're having a Poly ran for 1,000 yards this season. What do you mean? We one of the only teams in the league that had 1,000-yard receiver and 1,000-yard rusher. Tony Pollard, I think, had the most yards after contact in the NFL. Like, I think he was the number 2 or number 3 rusher in the AFC. Like, what else do you want? The fact is we just need a quarterback and we just need an edge rusher. The rest of the depth we can fill in because J-Rob had us in the hole. My, oh, my. Just to correct experts corner and Rich Black Man.
Let me
on
teach
Silver
you
Blue
how to
Huddle, take
vibe.
the Cowboys out. Rand was fired after 2 seasons, not 1. It took 2 seasons to clean up the books. We went from down in the hole to plus 100 million to plus 70 million with a solid roster that we just need to draft a quarterback. But the local media in Nashville is really perturbing me that Instead of talking about why Cole Anderson ain't been relieved of his duties yet, maybe they're waiting on the new GM to come in and tell Callahan who he has to get rid of, if he's going to be able to continue to play call, if he needs to get another OC that they see fit to take the offense in a different direction depending on who the quarterback is next year. Fine. But one thing we not about to do is try to ship off Jeffrey Simmons before we get rid of Colt Anderson. Like, the problem is the offense. The problem ain't the defense. The Tennessee Titans been able to play defense for some time. We can't play offense. And this like irrational thought that we should waste a first round pick on a right tackle. How did Isaiah Wilson work out? You know what I'm saying? Like, when we did draft Jack Conklin, we sent him to the Browns so he could be a Pro Bowler. This is all that I'm getting at is our team wants to get rid of stars to get solid guys to have a more solid roster so he can be more mid. Trust and believe Jeffrey Simmons being on the field improves the defense better than going out and spending $10 million on a middle linebacker or spending a high draft pick on an edge rusher. Like, you know how dumb this sounds to trade the first pick, trade out of one and not draft a QB, to draft Abdul Carter, trade Jeffrey Simmons off, and then watch him get double teamed and chipped on the edge, and then watch Devondre Sweat get doubled in the interior. Like, it just doesn't make sense, the logic that they never think that maybe, just maybe, when we were the number one seed in the league, there was Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. There was Derrick Henry, DeAndre Foreman, and Dontrell Hilliard. There was Michael Pruitt. There was Anthony Firkser. Like, maybe we had a couple of tight ends that were good. Solid line. Maybe we had Bud Dupree and Landry. Maybe we had, like, bro, like, when we were good, when we were the number one seed, we had multiple people at multiple positions. We had a lot of linebackers, a lot of safeties, a lot of corners. That's the whole point I don't understand is when we get one good thing, they want to trade it off. Oh, we got another good thing coming. Like, have you ever thought about, like, having them all there at the same time? AFC Championship run. There's your first round draft pick, Corey Davis, with your new second round draft pick, A.J. Brown, and a 2,000-yard Derrick Henry with a healthy Tannehill. Like, it just make my mind hurt to see my fan base just be so gullible and stupid that I gotta look at people thinking about these free agent quarterbacks. There you go, Sean. Trade away Malik Willis for a 7th rounder. Keep Levis. Now you want to get rid of Levis. In reality, if you're gonna run Tannehill out there, you should have kept Malik Willis and found an offense that didn't include him running in 12 personnel under center and throwing on 3rd and long. Like, like, when they played to his strong suits, they took the Chiefs to overtime. They played good games with him. You beat the Texans. Like, good things happen when they played to his strong suits. When they tried to make him be somebody he's not, it didn't work. Josh Dobbs comes in, plays pretty well. Instead of keeping him as a bridge, you let him walk. Then you go get Mason Rudolph. If you ask me, Josh Dobbs played a hell of a lot better than Mason Rudolph. And he was a Tennessee guy. Smart dude. Great dude for the community. Yo, DB with the 12th. Dragon stick us in the chat. He said the rest of the 47. Bro, I ought to smack y'all Cowboy fans. Now, let me get to my next topic. Y'all seen the meme. Y'all seen what I had on the screen out there. It's on my book page. It was my post I made today. Y'all know every day I make a post to rattle people's feathers. But let me put this on the screen so y'all can see it. Let me put this on the screen so y'all can see it. Who is that? That's Marcus Mariota, our first round draft pick. And who is that? Ryan Tannehill, the last solid QB that we had, just didn't work out for him in the playoffs. Let's not mention the Bengals game. But Ryan Tannehill didn't get picked up after his contract ended last season. Nobody picked him up. Instead of spending money on Dak Prescott, who's $60 million, Derek Carr, who's $40 million plus, Sam Darnold, who probably be $35 or $40 million, Aaron Rodgers is $40 million. How do these people's statistics career wise, not Aaron Rodgers, but these other bridges that's gonna be 30 or 40 million, how do they stack up to Tannehill? Tannehill has more playoff wins than them. Tannehill has division titles. He's got about 35,000 yards passing and a good touchdown to interception ratio with decent passing, completion percentage. If I wanted to go with a 35-year-old quarterback like Kirk Cousins that's getting 50 million next year, why not just call Tannehill back and say, hey, bro, we're going to draft a QB. We want you to be the bridge. Would you like to come back because nobody picked you up last season? Or Marcus Mariota is in the playoffs. He actually took some snaps, was on the field for the Commanders. It may have been because Jaden Daniels got a cut on his face, but nevertheless, Jaden Daniels has talked about how Mariota has been a great mentor to him, helping him, talking him through some of his tough times in his rookie year. Why not bring Mariota back? Mariota is barely over 30, still in good shape, has been a backup on the Eagles, has been a backup on the Commanders, been a backup in some good places. He'd be a perfect person to bring back. He only made $6 million this year. So if you want to talk about the price for somebody who's known in the fan base that didn't leave on bad terms, call one of these guys back if you need a bridge for Cam Ward or Shador. That might have sounded crazy a year ago, but looking in the condition you in, Tannehill would have won more games than Mason Rudolph. Mariota would have won more games than Mason Rudolph. Anybody disagree? Discord open. All you gotta do is let me know you in there. But tell me I'm wrong. Tell me if you was just gonna get a bridge, somebody that was a veteran, somebody that could win games, that's gonna pick up the system, that's gonna understand Nashville, why you would spend $40 million or $35 million on a bridge that has less stats than those two guys, just to appease and trick people into thinking that we're gonna be competitive. Daniel Jones' stats is worse than Mariota's. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, they stats look like Tannehill. If I say player A and player B and put their stats side to side, you wouldn't even be able to tell me the difference between the two. So I'm saying, if you're gonna get somebody that would fit in Nashville, that didn't leave on bad terms, I'm pretty sure if you offered $10 million to bridge, both of those guys would come back knowing that nobody really would trip if they start, and at the same time, nobody would be sitting here thinking like this guy is gonna take snaps away from whatever rookie that we have, because Kirk Cousins went a 6-week stretch, 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, lost his job to Michael Penix, not because he was hurt, because he wasn't playing well. And he's older than them two guys. The only other bridge I thought would have made sense, I reshared it 6 weeks ago. I said Daniel Jones would be the best bridge this upcoming offseason if he's under $10 million. I'd take Mariota or Tannehill back before I gave Daniel Jones 20 or Justin Fields 20 or Sam Darnold 30. Like, bro, like, why are you going to spend that type of money? If you're going to rebuild. Cam with the gifted subs back to back. Or they just said in drafting a QB. They're really not. They weigh in their options, but it's so many people in the fan base and the media that's trying to trade out on one. And we've already run over the history of what trading out on one does. Jared Goff, Michael Vick, Earl Campbell, Orlando Pace, Eli Manning, like guys that, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen at the list of people that people have traded in the one to get. The odds is, if one of these teams, the Giants, the Jets, the Raiders, the Cowboys, if somebody trades into one and takes Ward or Shador, odds is they're going to be in that list of people. Now you have the dumb Titan fans that are like, Jake Locker was a safety in college, bro. I don't even want to hear that again. So Why are we talking about bridges when we could just call Tannehill or Mariota and say, "Hey, bro, come back home. We got 10 mil for you." Matter of fact, 20 million, 2 years, $15 million guaranteed. Bridge it out that way. They'll be here for the opening of the new stadium, and then you'll draft Cam Ward or Shador. Look at the tape, pick one, and draft. Because at the end of the day, we traded Goff. We traded the Rams the pick that they picked Goff, and we got Derrick Henry, Jonnu Smith, a defensive tackle. Like, bro, them guy, only person still in the league is Henry. Now, Henry's a Hall of Fame back, but Jared Goff took the Rams to a Super Bowl. Should have took the Lions to one last year, and the Lions are in the number one seed. You need a first round draft pick quarterback. You need one. And the crazy part, you could have picked the quarterback and still got the running back in the second round. Like, if you go back and look at the years we did take a quarterback, in those years we still got other, like it, like if we take Cam Ward or Shador, we still get the pick at the top of the second round. We still have 2 fourths and 2 fifths, and that 1/5 could turn into a fourth. I just don't understand the logic. So for all the people that want to blow the $70 million cap on Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr or any of them guys aforementioned, Sam Darnold, please come to your senses. Tannehill and Mariota are still out there. You could go get those guys, bring them in as a bridge, draft your QB, get your edge rusher in the second, get a safety or a wide receiver in the third. We'll be perfectly fine. You got this could even get better. Draft Cam Ward or Shador, get your edge in the second, get you another receiver in the third. No, get a safety in the third. Hey, T. Higgins, we got max money for you. Come get this 20 ball. The Bengals ain't got no money. T. Higgins, come get the T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, Nick Westbrook, one of the speedsters in the draft in about the 4th round. Another running back in the draft. Tajay Spears, Tony Pollard, Chig Okonkwo, Nick Vannett, Josh Wiley. Bring one of your guards back, get a right tackle, get a right tackle in free agency and call it a day. It's just the hatred. That's the next topic we want to get into. So we done got into the topic of the Tennessee Titan fan base wanting to trade off all our stars. Second is, if you're going to get a bridge, why not Tannehill or Mariota? Third is, let's just cut down to it. And if anybody wanted to get in the Discord and throw hands, y'all can't, we can. Let's just say it. It's a lot of people that just, man, Rand was just too smooth, man. He didn't look like a hard worker. Something about that guy. Man, Shador Sanders, man, he just throwing the rollie up. I really hate Deion Sanders, man. That's really what y'all want to say. Y'all really hate Deion. You can't look at the numbers of Shador and Cam Ward and be like, man, them dudes threw for 4,000 plus yards, 75% completion percentage, balled out on teams that's been trashed for 30 years. Go cut up. Them same people that's going to tell you Cam Ward ain't no good. Carson Beck going to transfer into Miami. Carson Beck, though, for the same exact statistics as Miami did this year with Cam Ward, they're going to swear this dude it should be the number 1 overall pick, unquestioned. Shador Sanders, crazy numbers, 75% completion percentage, a pedigree. Any other time we'd be saying, we want an arch man and we don't care what he does. We want Eli. We don't care what we want. You want the pedigree except for when it comes to Deion Sanders. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just say like, man, it's nepotism. It's like y'all just be making up new stuff. Just say you don't like Deion. They too flashy. They smile too hard. The life they live too good. Just whatever it may be. But something I want y'all to remember. Patrick Mahomes' daddy is a Major League Baseball player, and Patrick Mahomes is the son of a Major League player. Kobe Jelly Bean Bryant daddy played in the league. Steph Curry daddy is one of the best shooters of all time. Of course, he's going to be one of the best shooters of all time. Michael Thompson was a top pick. Klay Thompson was a top pick. One was a Laker. One was a Golden State Warrior. Sometimes, just sometimes, the apple don't fall too goddamn far from the tree. If I swear to God we trade out of this pick and be mediocre for a decade and Cam Ward and Shedeur be fired, I'm going to be sick to my stomach watching this the same way we always watch this. You get tricked out your position. You get talked out of your spot. All the people that said, like, bro, it's people that got their retweets of saying that Jaden Daniels was going to be a complete bust. It's people that still want to admit, like, I got people on my post right now saying, man, Bo Nix just on a team with a good defense. You ain't seen Bo Nix play football? Guess what? Bo Nix' daddy is Chris Nix, former Auburn quarterback that everybody in the state know. You might want somebody with a pedigree that's used to the spotlight, not a quarterback that's eating whole bananas and putting mayonnaise in their coffee. Sometimes people just ain't been there before. I take the pedigree. I take the numbers. I look at the tape. Push Shedeur, Cam Ward in Nashville, first overall pick, and rip the Band-Aid off. It's a lot of people in Nashville that don't want to see black leadership. They don't want to see a black QB. They don't. But the only time we've ever been relevant is when we go out and get one of these guys in the first round. Steve McNair, going back to Warren Moon. They told Warren Moon he couldn't play quarterback. He should play receiver. Warren Moon, Steve McNair, Vince Young, Mariota. Them the only times we ever been relevant. Because we in a small market team that nobody cares about. It's true, bro. If you look at the Titans media right now, the same people was like, T'Vondre Sweat is da. And then what did T'Vondre Sweat wind up being? Why wouldn't you want a mean, aggressive defensive tackle? We don't need Andre Dillard asking Myles Garrett for his autograph and how to get better at left tackle after Myles Garrett had 5 sacks versus the Browns last year. We don't need nice guys in Nashville. We need to go back to the days of Pac-Man Jones, Albert Haynesworth, Keith Bullock, Cortland, people that's going to fight. Tired of having these like super soft. We had linebackers crying after the game 2-3 years ago. Soft. Then we fired the coach because he was too tough. Cam Ward, Shedeur, number 1 pick me. I ain't trying to hear about nothing else. And y'all gonna try to sell me on some. Y'all try to sell me on some. One of these 5th round guys, Brock Purdy Jr. Numbers say take talent. I'm so tired of a fan base that don't want stars. I'm so tired of a fan base that want to chase after has-beens on other teams. Overpaid has-beens. Like the biggest fleece that I seen is the 49ers kick the Cowboys' ass every year in the playoffs. Gave up the world to get Trey Lance. Realized that Brock Purdy was better than Trey Lance. And then sent Trey Lance to the Cowboys so the Cowboys could pay him so he could throw 5 picks in a preseason game. Now y'all want to trade Dak Prescott to us after you gave him $60 million a year. And we all know it ain't but a select few people that need that type of money, starting with Patrick Mahomes. Now, if it's 12 other quarterbacks that make more money than Patrick Mahomes, what does that tell you? Tom Brady was never the highest paid QB because he wanted better talent around him. And Patrick Mahomes is doing the same. Y'all run out here to pay these guys $50-60 million so you can go 5-5 down the stretch every year, limp into the playoffs and get your nose wiped when you play against a good defense or elite quarterback. We was all hype off Sam Darnold getting that deal till Matthew Stafford went out there and pulled his pants down, right? First round draft pick. Throwing no look passes and shit. They gave everything up for Trey Lance and then traded and got it all back because they let how somebody smack you around and then trade you the quarterback they don't want. If it ain't Shador, Cam Ward, Buddha is done with Tennessee. Man, I'm not watching football next year if they go out here and spend $40 million on a quarterback when they could just call one of these two guys. Be real. Call Mariota or Tannehill back before y'all go out here and get one of these goofballs $50 million so we can go 7-9 next year. I mean, Becker, like it's pretty simple, man. It's people that won't just admit, I don't like Dion. I don't like Shador. I don't like them. I respect it more when I see the Titans media like account after account after account after account after account trying to find every reason in the world, but the people they hyping is crazy. Like how you don't want Cam Ward or Shador, but in your mind you're like you cool with giving Derek Carr $35 million when the Saints can't even get rid of him. The Raiders paid him so they could send him to the Saints. I said, like this is crazy. Like the Falcons gave Kirk Cousins $180 million, and after half a season, they 6 weeks, 0 touchdown, 8 picks later, they like, we'll pay y'all to take him. Why would we give Kirk Cousins $30 million? Call Tannehill, call Mariota, draft Ward or Shador. Bro, I'm just sitting watching. Same people telling me that Cam Ward and Shador ain't good. Man, I really think Cooper Rush could take a team, take them where? 47 passing yards against the Eagles in the division game? Derek Carr getting beat out by Spencer Rattler? Come on, dog. We not doing this. Yeah, they little broed them. They smacked them around every year in the playoffs and said, hey, you know what? We're going to give y'all our third string quarterback, man. Send us one of them picks. Playing chess, man. It's just silly, man. Like, people be really out there fooling themselves. People be really out there fooling themselves. And I'm going to tell y'all, like, let Jalen Hurts struggle. Let Jalen Hurts struggle this playoff with the second round draft pick. The Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Milroe. They'll do something like that. The Eagles will be the team that'll take Milroe. Oh, you can't get AJ to Brown. We just gonna run with Jalen Hurts. Let me get somebody faster. Let me get somebody faster. If we just gonna RPO you to death, if we ain't gonna be able to get that $100 million wide receiver the ball and Devontae Smith and Jahan Dotson, if Jalen Hurts struggle, watch the Eagles. I'm saying like smart teams know what to do. Smart teams know what to do, man. Smart teams know what to do. And I only got one more thing for y'all. Watch this. I want to show y'all something. Let me show you what a bridge is. Let me show you what a bridge is. Carson Wentz to the Chiefs. Base salary $1.2 million. $129,000 roster bonus. $25,000 workout bonus. They got Carson Wentz with a $2.3 million cap hit. This is what a smart franchise does. Now, Carson Wentz is probably more accomplished than half them quarterbacks on that bridge list. And they got him for $2 million dead cap. That's what getting the bridge is. if Mahomes go down, we comfortable with a 32-year-old Carson Wentz coming in. Hey man, I'm just giving y'all the game that I see and the mistakes
Let
that
me
I see
teach
from
you
these
how to
teams
vibe.
that's going out spending $30 or $40 million on a bridge. When I watched the Browns go to the playoffs with Joe Flacco for $7 million, and I'm watching the Commanders have Marcus Mariota for $6, and I'm watching the Chiefs have Carson Wentz for $2. Like, some of these teams are really figuring out what a bridge actually means. It's not the Brooklyn Bridge. It's not the Golden
Let
Gate
me teach
Bridge.
you how to vibe.
It's a pontoon bridge to get troops on the other side so you can continue to fight and get back in the fight. Now let's look at Carson Wentz's career stats. Carson Wentz career stats: 22,000 yards, 153 touchdowns, and 67 interceptions, 63% completion percentage, 98 career games played. You got that for $2 million. Then they getting y'all sold on these bridges that cost 20 and 30 and $40 million. Career, them dudes are 50-50 on interception to touchdown ratio. I'm just giving y'all the game that I see. And I'm seeing the mistakes that bad teams make. Man, the jacket undone, Jeff. Man, Keith, they don't know what they looking at. They'll do it again, Becker. That's what managing a team and getting a bridge means. It don't mean run out here and blow your wad and throw all your money away. He said, how dare I use stats and facts? I mean, it's just common logic. The teams, what did I tell y'all? The teams that are good have more than one option at QB, and it's a better financial option than all the teams that are bad. So all the non-playoff teams have a gazillion dollars tied up in the guys that you know ain't beating Mahomes, you know ain't beating Josh Allen, you know ain't beating Lamar. In the Texans have C.J. Stroud on a rookie deal, and if he was in the playoffs, they not beating Joe Burrow. Teams got to stop giving money up for players that can't beat those guys. In the NFC, is Matt Stafford, it's Baker Mayfield, it's Jared Goff, and right now it's Jalen Hurts. Now you got Jordan Love and Jaden Daniels and some of the guys that's coming into the playoffs behind that. But all them other teams that got a bunch of money tied up in the QB that can't get them to the postseason, and damn sure ain't gonna get no win when they get there. Look at Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract and Mariota over there for $6 million. That's a bridge. And then the Eagles traded to get Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett was QB2. He's a first round draft pick and he's a backup. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean, Buddha? It means he's not making but $4 or $5 million a year. So it's like, and you got that contract for the next 2 years. Your bridge is set, and it's a person that's talented. Things didn't work out in Pittsburgh. Final four, SYO drip. Dreeny beat Henry and lost the SYO drip. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than to break this stuff down and show y'all how undefeated I am. Now we'll end the shop talk. We'll get into the regular portion of the stream, and then I'll leave the doors open for people to come in and debate. Y'all can come on camera. You can do whatever you want. You're not gonna prove this wrong. You're not.